should have chosen such an unexpected spokesman? I don't know if any of you picked it up a while ago, but Pope Francis accused the church of a few things. He's not keen on making friends in the church, that's for sure. And Pope Francis accused the church of impotent silence, and he suggested that the church and its leaders suffer not only from a lust for power, but what he calls spiritual Alzheimer's, which essentially means the church has forgotten what it was here to do in the first place. And I have to say that there are a lot of churches around that actually preach what they think people want to hear to make them feel good. I'm not sure whether I shared with you, I was coming back I had a lift back from the garage, and the guy giving me a lift back was saying, asking me what I did, and I told him I was a pastor. And he said, "Do you mention Jesus when you preach?" I said, "What do you mean, do I mention Jesus?" He said, "Well, the church my wife goes to, I've never heard him mention Jesus once." And you know, we really need to stand up for what we believe in a world which treats spirituality like a smorgasbord, a pick and choose kind of mix. And you know, if we look at our church history and go back to the Old Testament and the New Testament, and we look at the church leaders, there's a bunch of unlikely leaders, and I've just got a short synopsis of just some of them. I mean, even in our gospel reading, Nathaniel was full of prejudices. When Philip tells him about Jesus, Nathaniel tells Philip, nothing good could possibly come out of Nazareth. Nothing good could come out of there. Who's this guy Jesus? But Nathaniel overcomes his prejudices, and tradition tells us that he died a martyr's death for Christ. Do you know, our own personal prejudices can skew our judgment. You know, one of the great characters of the Old Testament, Moses, he's passionate in a point. I love Moses because I think many of us could see us in Moses' character. For the most part, he argued with God all the time. All the time he argued with God. Why me? Who am I that I should go to the Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Why me? Why have you chosen me? Right through chapter 3 and 4 of Exodus, Moses whinges and complains. What if seems to be Moses' mantra. Verse 13, chapter 4. Moses says to God, "Go and send somebody else." Not me. Go and send somebody else. And then in chapter 5, he complains again to God. "Why have you brought me all this trouble? God, why have you brought this trouble to me?" Chapter 4, verse 17. Then Moses cries out to the Lord, "What am I to do with these people? They're almost ready to stone me." You know, do you cry out to God sometimes? Why me? Noah. There's another guy. People thought he was crazy. Abraham embraced uncertainty. Joseph, he had a tough life. He was sold into slavery. What do you reckon if John the Baptist turned up here? You know, can you imagine on an ordination and John the Baptist prayed him down? I can't imagine him wearing the finery. It wouldn't have gone down well in the parade, would it? What about Peter? Peter was a total washout, wasn't he? And yet, Peter is the founder of our church. I just want to leave you with 3 short thoughts. And that is, just as God spoke to Samuel, has God spoken to you? Do you know, I like to think of God speaking in whispers, because it's only us that hears Him when He speaks to us. But in actual fact, He's shouting, "Wakey, wakey! Wake up!" And how many times, do we kind of feel this? We have a kind of a thought planted in our mind. Not for me. I mean, God whispered to me for a long time before I came to the ministry. But in the end, here I am, came kicking and screaming. But we talk to God, don't we? We pray to Him. But do we listen to Him? Do we let those whispers come to us? God calls the most unlikeliest people. I hope you won't be offended, but as I look around here, you're a rubber bunch. I include myself in that. We're an unlikely bunch gathered on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. If God was going to pick a first team, I'm not sure we'd scrape in. But God doesn't want a first team. He wants unlikely people. He wants people to just surrender to Him. That's my second point, really, is God wants unlikely people. And the third point is, and it's straightforward and simple, but we need to reclaim the church. I hate to acquaint it in business terms, but what are we in business for? The only reason I'm stood here is to bring people to Christ. Pure and simple. Now, if that means feeding the hungry, or some of you guys go out on a cold Friday night to try and keep some of the unloved warm, if that's a way of showing our love through Christ through them, that's great. But we're here to save lives and to reclaim the church for Christ. Do you know, if you look through church history and you look through every revival, the revivals have been snuffed out when the established church gets hold of it. And we need to reclaim the church for Christ. Next time God whispers to you, listen to Him and obey Him. Just as Samuel did. Samuel had to tell Eli some uncomfortable things that was going to happen to his family. I'm sure a 12-year-old really didn't want to share that with Eli. But he did. Sometimes we have to say the unpopular things. It's not easy. But we have to reclaim the church. In Jesus' name. Amen.